Yes, sir. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and in today's video, we are back at it working on the '08 Civic. Turn those fans off. So, for those of you guys who saw my last video, we took this thing in for a damaged front axle. Just wanted to get it diagnosed, just to make sure it was just the axle, because I had some doubts that maybe it was something a little bit more. Ended up getting a $5,000 repair bill for a car that's probably worth at this point $1,000. Mind you, cars are pretty expensive these days. But nonetheless, we went through our quote in the last video, and we diagnosed all the things that we are going to be fixing on this car. And we're basically going to be doing an axle and a set of front springs. But I do have my eye on a set of lowering springs for this thing, so we'll see how that goes. But what I ended up getting was a CV axle here from Rock Auto, and this thing cost me, it was about $60 on the website, and then it was about another $40 shipped, and it did come really quickly. And so yeah, that cost me about $100, and yeah, I'm starting the process of taking this axle out right now. So I hit these bolts with some WD-40 a while ago, loosened up this axle nut right here, and then we ended up undoing the 3 bolts at the bottom here. So I'm currently in the process of getting my crowbar and bending this lower control arm down out of the way, and then I'm gonna have to kind of hammer the axle out of the wheel bearing here, so that's probably going to take a little bit of work. But I did just want to make this video because here we are $100 into this repair, and yeah, the quote that we got for $5,000 really opened my eyes. Now there's certain things that I don't like doing on my cars. If I got to take too much off of the car, or it's going to take a long time, or it's something that I've never done before, I get a little bit nervous, and the axle is one of those things that I've tried in the past. I haven't really got anywhere, so it's made me nervous. But then when you take your car to a mechanic and they quote you $5,000 to repair a bunch of things that really don't need to be repaired, especially for a car this age, it kind of motivates you to take the chances and stuff like that. So the car is up in the air. What I'm gonna do is start prying that lower control arm off, let you guys know how it goes. Now, I'm not gonna do a huge how-to because I don't even really know how to do this, and I'm kind of just watching YouTube videos and winging it as I go along. But, you know, I do make YouTube videos, so I figured since we're in the garage, I might as well fire up the camera and make some sort of a video out of this. So yeah, man, if you guys are looking for a step-by-step how-to, this definitely isn't it, but I am going to be going over the steps, just doing all the work basically off camera. So with that being said, I'm going to get at it, throw on some YouTube videos here, and plug away, man. Alrighty, so the axle is out. Just doing a side-by-side comparison here. So just to lift this up, let me see if I can. Like, that was definitely our clicking when we were turning. And I'd bet that's enough to make the brake caliper go out of alignment. This end, not too bad. I don't know how tight they're supposed to be. Yeah, this one's like butter. So I believe this is a refurbed axle just by the look of the paint here, but that's okay as long as everything was rebuilt. It does look like it is the same axle, so I'm going to go ahead, put this one back in. So as of right now, I'm about 45 minutes into this, and it honestly wasn't that bad. The biggest issue that I had so far, that I wouldn't even call an issue, is I just had to get a chisel in between the transmission and where the axle comes into the tranny, in order to just kind of chip that away and get it out. But install should be pretty decent. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the car right now, and yeah, hopefully we don't have any issues, and things go nice and smooth. Alrighty, so the axle is in. I've got the axle nut torqued down to 130 foot-pounds right there. So pretty much all I had to do was stick the axle in the hole, tap it in with a sledgehammer here, and then just basically get the axle nut seated here. You don't want to go too tight here because you could prematurely wear out your wheel bearing there. So I'm going to go ahead, put the transmission shifter cover back on because I did have to remove that in order to get my chisel in there without damaging it. Pretty much all that I needed was a 32 millimeter for the axle nut, a 17 millimeter for the ball joint, and then a small chisel, sledgehammer, and a crowbar there. And I think I needed a 10 millimeter in order to get that shifter cover off there. But all in all, really easy repair. I gotta say, working on cars is so much easier when you really have nothing to lose. Like, I mean, I'm not going to spend $5,000 on this car. Nobody wants to work on it, apparently. And, you know, it makes it very easy for me to just go in there, do what I got to do in order to make things work. If I fail, then I fail. If I don't, then I got nothing to lose there. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. Look at our time there. Yeah, we're getting, I think we got a pretty decent video there. So I'm probably going to put an end to this one. So the Civic, back at it, back on the road, new axle. Again, I got some lowering springs coming for this thing. I think the Skunk 2 is what I'm going to go with. And then, yeah, everything else, I'm going to go ahead, check for that oil leak. I'm pretty sure it's the transmission fluid leak, which I know has been leaking for a long time. And aside from that, I'm going to go ahead, throw the SER wheels back on the front of this thing. And we should be ready to rock this thing. Of course, I'm going to do a test drive, make sure that everything's good here. But I'm pretty confident just because of this thing. I mean, you know what? Let's rip her open and have a look inside, actually. So in there is where your joint is. Oh, yeah. Lots of play in there. I don't know if you can see it, but she ain't doing good, so luckily we got that before it caused some issues and left me stranded. And aside from that, man, the Honda will live another day. I can't kill these freaking cars, man. I always recommend to anybody that I know when they're saying they're buying a new car, buying a car for their kids, buying a car for themselves, the wives, get yourself a 2008 Honda Civic. You're not going to be disappointed. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So as always, I'm your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and that's pretty much it, man. Let me know what you guys think of this one down in the comment section. And as always, we're going to catch y'all mofos at the next one, man. Peace.